and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fanged.
Okay, so it's been a while, but we're back. I'm not going to videotape myself making the right-hand side of this, but what I am going to do is, so first, some things. According to TJ, this is incorrect. This is supposed to be flush with these along the whole way, then you sand it down the opposite side. Now, I'm not so sure I like that. I kind of like it this way. So when I build the right one, I'm gonna do it his way and compare the two, and I'm gonna pick which one I like better, and that's how it's gonna wind up. But full disclosure, you are supposed to make this one flush with these, and that's how it goes on. Other than that, all it's left to do with this one is install this panel and install this panel. So, first things first, this sticks up too much, and this is supposed to be flush with this. Well, so I'm gonna cut this off with the jigsaw real fast. So, use a jigsaw, took these off very crudely. We're gonna see how this fits now. Okay, so here's where it starts to get weird. So I'm just looking at how these parts are mounted together. And furthermore, as a reference, I am using this book I have. It's the Modern Viper Guide that it's used for building aircraft models, like scale models, which I do in my spare time when I have room to do it. But looking at the real thing, it slopes. This part slopes, then it comes down flat. And this cockpit doesn't do that. So really it's going to be up to you how you want to swing this. Personally, what I've elected to do is I'm going to bolt this sucker down so it's flush with the wall there. Because if it's a little angled, if it's a little not, none of that really matters. All that matters is the side stick being completely up and down and rigid. But I'm going to elect to do this guy first. I'm not going to glue him because I might have to screw with it later or take it apart to work on it or something. So I'm not going to glue this one down, just screw. I'll probably use the 2-inch boys to go in. Yeah, I'll use the 2-inch boys to go in for this one. And then once this is in place, it's not perfectly flush over there. There's supports to add in the bottom though. Once this is in place, I will see about fitting this guy up here and how I'm going to do it. More to follow. Okay, so that's only got 2 screws holding it on, but that is like, it's in there. And I will do more to bolt it down in a second, but I just wanted to get it in place where it's not flopping around and then to see how this piece fits in. So I'm gonna take a look at how I'm gonna do this and then I'll decide how I'm gonna do it and then I'll get back to you and tell you what I decided to do. So it's a tight fit and I even damaged the MDF here a little bit getting this to sit properly, but it doesn't sit flush. You have 2 schools of thought here. If you make this line up flush, then this thing wants to dip down behind under this. Or if you get this flush, it pokes out a bit on this side. And I'm going to elect to have it like this because this is easier to clean up and you're not really gonna notice this. And looking at TJ's pictures as well, 1 second. Look at my face, here we are. Looking at TJ's pictures as well, quiet music. You can see it sticks out a little bit on the side up there, so that's just the way it is. Now, this side appears to be flush and that's good because this side is, there's a panel that goes there, but on this side, interestingly, that's gonna be your caution panel. That is, I'm not sure what that is actually, but this part is like a square block, and it's where your standby compass goes. So I might wind up just cutting that out altogether, so I'm less concerned about this being flush. Worst case scenario, it starts flush down here, and then I'll sand this flush, and just when I do surgery to this part to get the standby compass in there, I'll deal with it then. So what I'm gonna do is lock this sucker in by putting a bracket on the back end of this, and I think I'm done with this side until, you know, I do the painting and chopping the screws off and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm gonna build the right wall first. So that's what I'm working with. So for the screws for the bracket, I'm using these actually. These are number 6 1/2 inch. Actually, I think I have number 6 1/2 inch here somewhere. Maybe I don't remember, honestly. These are what I'm using for to get these on because they're the perfect depth. You're not going to see them anyway because they're underneath there. So that's what I'm using. I don't think I covered these in the original. I happen to have these lying around. So any screws that's not going to poke through the wood's what I'm looking for here. Okay, so I had to get pretty creative to maneuver this drill in here, but I screwed it in there and I managed to not break through the front of the wood. If I did, I would just spackle it anyway, like I'm going to do with this piece here, but this is now solid. It's not moving anywhere. So all it's left to do now is install some supports for the back end of this to interface to. So I'm going to install support here, here, and here if I have them. I've got a bunch of spares I can cut down to size if I need to. And this bad boy is complete until ready to finish her up. Oh, well, not quite. I'm going to put 2 bolts here just to secure this panel. You know the drill. Just these and a 2-inch, not a big deal. So just figured I'd mention that. So as it stands, this part is laying on this right here, right there. This is floating. It's floating right there. And this is impacting. So it's laying on this piece and this piece. So all I really need to do is maybe get something under there to shim it a little bit and add some kind of support back here for this side. And she's good. Oh, you know what? Just figured this out. This is it, isn't it? Hold on one second. Wishful thinking. I was thinking maybe this fits back here because this says rear switch panel support, but it doesn't quite fit. Maybe this guy does. Oh, would you look at that? I wonder how I could make this go in a way. Well, the point is, this has an angle cut onto it, and that angle sort of looks like it is meant to be like this and bolt onto that sucker. It's very close, so that's how I'm going to use it. And then maybe cut one of these to size or something. It's not terribly important because you're not going to see any of this when it's all closed up. And so this is all behind the scenes stuff, and you just need something for this to be supported on, you know? Especially if you plan on using mil-spec toggle switches, because they'll just start pulling the thing up if you're lifting up to move it over a hump. So I also have a ton of spares that he cut me, so I can afford to be pretty liberal with how I engineer this. So I'll show you, and I have a bunch of other stuff I tried to fit in there. Those 2 pieces actually do fit in there. So I'll let you know what I wind up with. Okay, I've decided. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to simply place this guy here like this. So supporting this, I'm gonna mark it with a big black Sharpie, and I'm gonna drill the hole in from this side to make sure it's correct, and then countersink from the other and bolt into it. And that's how I'm gonna do it. And I will use glue for this as well. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do it in a second. I drilled the holes through, I countersunk this side. Now I'm gonna take a big clamp it on there and drill it through into this one so the wood doesn't split. Then I'm gonna take the clamp off, glue it, clamp it again, screw it, take the clamp off, bolt it to this guy. That's the plan, I'm sticking to it. Except the clamp doesn't reach. So how am I gonna do this one? Might just hold it in place and just hand drill it. Hold with my right hand, drill with my left. I guess it's gonna be a little sloppy, but I only need one to get in there and then I can take it from there. So I'm gonna try that. Little off to the side, but it wasn't terrible. What's important is it'll hold it in place while I glue it. Is it ghetto? Yes. Is it also gonna hold? Yes. So I don't really care. That's what I engineered and came up with, and that's what I'm gonna stick to. So I think this side is done, at least until I decide what to do with the top rail. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get this off the workbench and put it somewhere out of the way and build the other wall, but I'm not going to videotape that unless I run into problems somewhere. I'll also try doing the rail the way TJ suggested, since this is apparently incorrect, and I'll see how it looks. And if that looks better than this, I will, oh God, I will take this apart and put it on the correct way, which will break my little heart, but you know, do what I gotta do. But since I'm not videotaping making the wall, I suppose that's it for this video. So thanks for watching. I guess the next one's going to be conclusions, how I'm going to do the top rail, how this other panel went on. It's marginally different, not really. And painting, I guess. That'll be the next video, is painting. So thanks for watching these videos, and I'll catch you soon.